You know what's funny? The more I tried to be available, the more they pulled away. The more I texted first, smiled, more tried to show how much I cared. The less it seemed to work. It felt like I was always chasing. Until one day I came across this line from The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. And he wrote, "Your greatest power in seduction is your ability to turn away to delay their satisfaction and make them come after you." And I just sat there staring at that sentence like, wait, so maybe I was doing it all wrong. That one sentence flipped something in me. I started paying attention not just to what I was doing, but how it was landing. And that's when I fell into the rabbit hole of psychological research on attraction. Turns out a lot of what we think is flirting might actually be backfiring. So today I'm not giving you cheesy pickup lines. I'm sharing the actual psychology-backed ways to spark attraction without losing who you are. Let's talk about the real things that get your crush curious and leave them wanting more. And hey, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the little bell so you don't miss the next episode of Psych. I used to think flirting was pretty straightforward. Smile more. Be confident. Make them laugh. Be yourself, but also be mysterious. Make eye contact, but not too much. Touch their arm, but only if it doesn't seem creepy. Honestly. It felt like trying to defuse a bomb with no manual. And no matter what I tried, it often left me second guessing. Was I too much, too eager, too boring? Did I say the wrong thing? Should I have waited for them to text first? No one ever teaches us how attraction really works. We just copy what we see in movies. Or take advice from random social media posts telling us to be high value or play the game. But the truth is, attraction is way more psychological than we realize. I didn't know that even how I smiled could change how someone perceived me. I didn't realize that something as subtle as where I sat or how I laughed could make the difference between being forgettable or unforgettable. And here's the real kicker. What works for guys might totally backfire for girls, and vice versa. I started wondering if there's real science behind this. Why aren't we using it? That's when I dug into the psychology of seduction, not to manipulate anyone, but to understand what actually builds connection. What makes someone lean in instead of tune out. And what I found was fascinating. The more I read into the psychology of attraction, the more I realized this isn't random. It's patterns. Predictable, powerful, deeply human patterns. And today I want to share with you 4 of the most surprising ones I learned each, backed by research. Because when I started applying them not in a manipulative way, but just understanding the dance of energy between two people, everything shifted. I used to think smiling was universally attractive. Like, duh, right? It shows you're kind, confident, approachable. But a study from the Journal of Emotion said otherwise. Apparently for women, smiling makes you more attractive. But for men, it actually makes you less attractive. Men were rated least attractive when they smiled and more attractive when they looked neutral or even serious. Meanwhile, women were rated most attractive when they smiled and looked happy. The reason? Subconsciously, we associate smiling in women with warmth and openness. But in men, constant smiling might signal submissiveness or lack of mystery. So instead of grinning like a golden retriever, I held eye contact, then looked away casually. And that subtle change made a difference. Then came the most surprising cue. Shame. Turns out the expression of shame, slightly lowered head, averted eyes, slightly closed posture, was rated as attractive for both men and women. It signals humility, vulnerability, and emotional depth. I remember using this once someone complimented me, and instead of deflecting, I just looked down and said, "Thanks, that means a lot." It worked. Let's talk about positioning. If your crush is sitting at a table, where should you sit? A study showed that men responded better when women sat beside them, and women preferred when men sat across from them. It sounds minor, but it matters. When I sat beside a guy friend, the vibe was casual and warm. When I sat across from a girl I liked, the eye contact felt clearer and more focused. And finally, humor. According to researcher Eric Bressler, women are more attracted to men who make them laugh, while men are more attracted to women who laugh at their jokes. When I stopped trying to be the funniest and just noticed what made her laugh, the connection got stronger. Attraction is subtle, but if you learn the cues, you don't have to chase it. You can just create space for it to land. So you've got the psychology. Now what? How do you turn these insights into daily habits without feeling fake, manipulative, or awkward? It's not about acting attractive. It's about practicing small shifts in awareness until they become natural. First, the soft gaze. Not too intense, not absent. Just a relaxed, steady look followed by a gentle glance away. Second, mirror their energy. Don't copy words, copy emotion. If they're excited, be light. If they're nervous, slow down. Third, use subtle touch. A 1-second touch on the forearm can build warmth if it's welcome. Always read the room. Fourth, pause. Don't rush to fill every silence. Pauses show presence, attention, and intention. Fifth, stop overusing the smile. Let it build naturally. A subtle smirk is sometimes more powerful than a big grin. And 6, leave space for mystery. Don't over-explain yourself. Let them ask. Let curiosity rise. You don't need to impress. You just need to be fully present and real. And when you apply these habits not to trick but to connect, everything changes. I used to think attraction was about doing more effort, more compliments, more availability, but the more I chased, the more I lost myself, until I finally understood. Attraction that lasts doesn't come from tricks, it comes from truth. You don't need to smile more, touch more, flirt better, or be cooler to be worthy of love. You already are. The research we explored isn't a manual for manipulation. It's a window into human connection. A chance to understand how we work so we can stop overthinking and start being. Because when you're grounded in who you are, you don't beg for attention. You invite it. You don't chase affection. You attract alignment. You don't perform desire. You radiate it. And if someone can't see the beauty of that, that's not your failure. That's just their limitation. Try the eye contact. Try the soft laugh. Try sitting beside them or looking away every now and then, but do it from a place of curiosity, not desperation. Do it because you enjoy the dance of connection, not because you're trying to win someone over. Because at the end of the day, the most magnetic thing in the world is someone who knows they're already enough.